Hey, welcome to Kitchen All Over the World, the show where I cook things that I've never tasted before. On this episode, I'll be cooking Sudanese beef and potato stew, Dama be Potaatas. Join me. So the potatoes in this recipe are actually home fries. So I've got my frying pan going with some oil. The potatoes I'm using are red potatoes because they're best for frying like that, and because of the lack of starch, they won't break down once we go to make it into a stew. So let's get these started. Throw them into the oil and let them get golden brown. Potatoes are about al dente right now, so that's a perfect place to take them out because they are going into a stew later, so you don't want them to kind of turn to mush. Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of a ton of onions, as usual in Kitchen All Over the World. So let's throw those into our pot. Oh my god. Starting to think this was too many onions. Probably is. But that's, I don't know. You know what, they're gonna get blended later. So, I mean, let's play it by ear. Hopefully they cook down a little bit, because this is, I don't know. That's, I mean, what is that? What is that? So as you can see, they've actually reduced by about half. So at this point, I'm gonna add some water. I'm gonna give it a good stir. And I'm gonna leave that covered for about 10 minutes until the water reduces. So I pureed my onions in the food processor, so they look like that now. I'm gonna add about half of them back in. I'm gonna play it by ear and see what it looks like. Because it's still a lot of onions. And I know what you're thinking, it looks like applesauce, right? Good prank to play on your friends because it does not smell like applesauce. And some tomatoes that I chopped up. Let's throw that back on medium, bring it back up to temperature. And now that that's bubbling away, I'm gonna add, I have about 300 grams of beef here. I'll add those in, along with half of a green bell pepper, a teaspoon of cinnamon, a teaspoon of cardamom. I'm using that kororima from the Ethiopian dorawat that I made. I'm figuring that same region, so they probably use the same type of cardamom rather than the Indian variety. So a teaspoon, and a teaspoon of salt. If I can get it out of here. Give it all a good stir. Let's cover it up for 3 minutes. Alright, so some of the juices have been released from the tomatoes. It's looking nice and bubbly. And those spices are smelling really good. So we're gonna add 4 tablespoons of tomato paste. And I'm gonna add a few cups of water. Give this a stir to blend in that tomato paste. 3 cups of water, nice and runny, because this is going to go and reduce for some time. So we're going to add the potatoes in. Let's cover it up and bring it to a simmer for 10 minutes. In the meantime, I'm going to make some Sudanese flatbread called Gorraasa. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's really simple. It's just a flour and water dough with some baking powder and some salt. So, tried to get all the lumps out, but there's some in here. Anyway, ladle some of this batter onto a warm frying pan. Get a little more of that on there and spread it out real thin. All right, once it's dry around the edges, I'm gonna flip it over, hopefully. I'll let it brown a little bit more on that side. All right, it's time. I'm gonna try and eat this with the bread because I think that's how you're supposed to do it. But I got a fork, backup fork, just in case. So, but I know a whole bunch of people are gonna yell at me in the comments if I use it. So. Beef is a little overdone, but I used a really lean cut, so didn't have much fat for padding. So, oh well. But it picked up like so much of the cardamom flavor and the cinnamon. So really good earthy, floral, fragrant kind of flavor. This is good. It's nothing too crazy. As you can see with the ingredients list, everything's really available in your own grocery store, aside from, I guess, the cardamom. It's almost got a North African kind of vibe to it because of the cinnamon and the spices, but who knows? Yeah, good combination of flavors. And the bread, it's kind of like a pancake, but you can see it's like kind of chewy, stretchy. The baking powder really fluffed it up, so it's got like a layer of air in between the two layers of dough. Although I gotta say, this is a pretty messy way of eating things. I'm sure I have too much stuff on top of the bread, but I'm gonna finish this off by scooping with a fork, so I apologize for that. The onions didn't really, they kind of have the same effect that they did in the Dorowat, and they're kind of like a base kind of flavor and texture, but because they got cooked down so much, they don't really impart so much of their flavor into the grand scheme of things. And also because of the way that things were layered in, it started with the onions, and then added in the tomatoes, which kind of brightened things up a little bit, and then all the rest of the ingredients. So the things that have the most prominent flavor are actually the ones that got added last because they didn't get reduced so much to their elements. So that's Sudanese beef and potato stew. Dama be Potaatas. If you enjoyed watching this video, be sure to hit the like button down below. If you want to see more of my videos as they come out, hit that subscribe button up above. And if you have food from your home country that you want to see me attempt to prepare on this show, then leave a comment below. Thanks for watching. See you next time.